Your dog has already decided. Not recently. Not after some grand moment you remember. Long before you were paying attention, your dog looked at you and made a judgment that would shape every single day of their life. And yours. The question is not whether your dog loves you. The question is whether you have actually seen the evidence. Because the signs are there. They have been there the whole time. And most owners walk past them every single day without knowing what they are looking at. Welcome to Dog Mind Unlocked. If you love your dog and want to truly understand what is happening inside their mind, subscribe right now. What you are about to learn will change the way you see your dog forever. Let's get into it. 1. Think about the last time your dog fell asleep in the same room as you. Not touching you, not performing any particular behavior, just present. Maybe on the floor nearby, maybe across the room, maybe at the foot of your bed. You probably barely noticed it. It felt completely ordinary. But what was happening in that moment was anything but ordinary. Sleep is the most physiologically vulnerable state any mammal can enter. When your dog closes their eyes and surrenders to sleep in your presence, they are doing something that their nervous system is wired to resist. Dogs are not natural deep sleepers in unfamiliar or unsafe environments. Research from the journal Applied Animal Behavior Science has documented that dogs in shelters or unfamiliar households show dramatically disrupted sleep architecture. Fragmented sleep, increased alertness cycles, and suppressed REM cycles. REM sleep is the phase where memory consolidates and emotional processing occurs. A dog in a place where they do not feel safe does not reach it easily. When your dog sleeps deeply near you, fully on their side, paws loose, body slack, they are in a parasympathetic state. Their parasympathetic nervous system, which governs rest, repair, and calm, is dominant. That only happens when the brain has assessed the environment and concluded, I am safe here. And not just safe in a neutral sense. Safe because of you. You are the variable that makes the environment safe. Your presence is what their nervous system is responding to. That exposed, limp, deeply sleeping dog is not being lazy. They are showing you the highest form of physiological trust a social animal can express. They are telling you, with you here, I do not need to stay ready. You have already done that for me. Keep watching, because the next sign is one that happens in plain sight every single day, and almost every owner misinterprets it completely. 2. Your dog brings you things. Maybe it's a toy. Maybe it's a shoe they grabbed from the hallway. Maybe it's a stick they found outside and carried all the way back to where you were standing. You probably laughed or told them to put it down, or just accepted it without thinking much about it. But what you received in that moment was not random. This behavior has been studied extensively through the lens of canine social cognition. Researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest, the same group responsible for some of the most significant dog cognition research of the last 2 decades, have documented that dogs preferentially offer objects to humans they have formed secure attachments with. The behavior is not about the object. It is about the act of transfer. It is about sharing. And sharing in the social architecture of a pack animal is an expression of intimacy and trust so fundamental it predates language by millions of years. In wolf social structures, the sharing of resources, food, prey, territory, is a marker of alliance. When a subordinate animal offers something to a trusted companion, they are enacting a behavior that says, I bring this to you because you are who I bring things to. You are the center of my social world. Your dog is not capable of sitting down and reflecting on this consciously, but their nervous system is running ancient code, and the code says, when I find something worth sharing, I find my person. The next time your dog drops something at your feet, do not dismiss it. Accept it. Even if it is a soggy tennis ball, even if it is your own sock. What they are handing you is evidence, and the sign that comes next is even harder to see. But once you see it, you cannot unsee it. 3. Watch your dog's face the next time they hear an unexpected sound. A car door outside, a knock, something falling in another room. Their head will turn toward the sound, and then, almost immediately, their eyes will come back to you. This behavioral reflex has a name in canine cognition research. It is called social referencing, and it is one of the most revealing demonstrations of attachment science has ever documented in non-human animals. A landmark study published in Animal Behavior found that dogs, when encountering ambiguous or uncertain situations, consistently turn to their human companions to read the situation before deciding how to react. The study found this behavior is specific to the human the dog has formed an attachment with, not to strangers, not to unfamiliar people in the room, to their person. What this means for your dog in practical terms is profound. When your dog looks at you after a strange sound, they are not simply being distracted. They are gathering information. They are asking you, without language, "Is this something I need to respond to? Should I be afraid? Are we okay?" And they are asking you, specifically, individually you, because you have become their most trusted source of information about the world. You are their interpreter of reality. There is a parallel here worth sitting with. Human infants engage in identical social referencing behavior with their primary caregivers. The mechanism is the same. The evolutionary need is the same. In a species that cannot navigate the environment alone, the face of the most trusted individual becomes a compass. Your dog is doing exactly this with you. Your face is their compass. The sound was never the point. You were always the point. And that brings us to the next sign, the one that most owners have seen thousands of times and never understood the full weight of. 4. Your dog lets you touch their paws. This sounds small. It is not small. The paws of a dog are among the most neurologically sensitive parts of their body. They contain dense concentrations of nerve endings, scent glands, and pressure receptors. They are also the dog's primary means of movement, which means in any threatening situation, the paws are the first thing a dog needs to be able to use. Allowing someone to hold or handle the paws requires the dog to temporarily accept a state of compromised mobility. From an evolutionary standpoint, this is a significant surrender. Research on canine body handling, published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior, has shown that paw sensitivity is consistently one of the top triggers for anxiety and defensive responses in dogs who have experienced trauma or who have not formed secure human attachments. Veterinary staff who work with unfamiliar dogs report that paw handling, nail trimming in particular, requires significant trust building before most dogs will tolerate it without stress signals. Even among bonded dogs, the study found measurable differences in heart rate and cortisol response when paws were handled by familiar versus unfamiliar people. When your dog lies there and lets you hold their paw, when they do not pull away, do not stiffen, do not look for an exit, they are making a choice. They are overriding an ancient protective instinct because your hands are the exception. Your hands are known. Your hands are trusted. Some dogs will even fall asleep while you hold their paw. Think about what that requires of them. Think about what they decided about you to get there. You might never have clipped their nails without a struggle and still received this sign. Because the sign is not the compliance. The sign is the calm. Stay with me, because the sign after this one involves something your dog does with their body when they have nowhere else to be. 5. When your dog leans their full body weight against your legs, just stands there and presses into you. You have probably assumed they want something, attention, food, to go outside. Most owners treat this as a polite request, but research suggests something deeper is happening. A study published in Hormones and Behavior found that physical contact between dogs and their human companions triggers a mutual release of oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, in both the dog and the human. Oxytocin is associated with feelings of safety, warmth, and social belonging. The release is not incidental. It is the biological substrate of attachment. What the study found is that even brief, non-task-related physical contact, just being together and touching, was sufficient to produce measurable oxytocin elevation in bonded pairs. But here is what is more significant than the oxytocin finding. Dogs do not lean into people they are unsure of. Dogs who are anxious, traumatized, or ambivalent about a person do not initiate sustained body contact. That full-body lean, the quiet, no-agenda press against your leg while you stand in the kitchen or sit on the couch, is something a dog does only when they have decided that being close to you is simply where they want to be, not because they need something, because closeness itself is the point. There is a phrase that appears repeatedly in attachment research: safe haven. In human relationships, the safe haven is the person you return to when you are overwhelmed, the one whose proximity alone reduces the intensity of difficult emotions. For a securely attached dog, you are the safe haven. The lean is how they find it. Your leg, your presence, the particular gravity of being near you. The next sign is one of the quietest, but it is also one of the most deliberate. 6. Your dog makes eye contact with you. Soft, relaxed, lingering eye contact, and holds it. Between dogs, sustained eye contact is a challenge. It is a dominance signal. Wild canids use it to communicate threat and assert status. The fact that domestic dogs have evolved to make soft, relaxed eye contact with humans, and to seek it, is one of the most remarkable transformations in the history of domestication. This did not happen by accident. Research from the National Academy of Sciences documented that mutual gaze between dogs and their human companions triggers an oxytocin feedback loop in both species, a loop that mirrors the gaze bonding mechanism between human mothers and their infants. But the critical word here is soft. The shape of the eyes matters enormously. A hard stare is different from a soft gaze. When your dog looks at you with slightly relaxed eyes, sometimes with what owners call whale eye in its gentlest form, the whites barely visible, the muscles around the eyes loose, they are giving you what behaviorists call an affiliative gaze. This is a gaze that says, I see you and I want you to see me, and I am comfortable being seen. In the wild, being watched means being vulnerable. Being seen means being found. A dog who will hold your gaze with soft eyes has decided that being seen by you is not a risk. It is a relief. When you look at each other, really look at each other, past the task and the routine, something ancient and mutual is happening. You are not a person and a pet in that moment. You are two species that found each other across 100,000 years of shared history and decided to keep going. 7. Your dog greets you when you return home, but the specific quality of that greeting tells you everything. There is a distinction worth understanding. All dogs greet their returning owners, but research conducted at the University of London examined the neurological and behavioral differences between the greeting responses of securely attached dogs versus dogs with anxious or avoidant attachment styles. What they found was that securely attached dogs, dogs who have formed a stable, trust-based bond, exhibit what the researchers called an exuberant, then settled greeting. The initial excitement is intense, but within minutes it resolves into calm, relaxed proximity. The dog settles. Anxiously attached dogs, by contrast, showed prolonged agitation after their owners returned. Unable to fully settle, unable to regulate, they continued pacing, seeking reassurance, and displaying stress behaviors long after the reunion should have concluded. The greeting never fully converted to calm. This distinction, exuberant, then settled, versus exuberant and unable to settle, is the difference between a dog whose nervous system trusts that you are home and a dog whose nervous system is still asking the question. When your dog goes wild at the door and then, within a few minutes, simply lies down near you, content, done, the world restored, what you are watching is a nervous system completing its circuit. You were gone. The circuit was open. Now you are back. The circuit closes. Everything is okay. The settling is not indifference. The settling is the proof. And the final sign, the one that brings everything together, is the one most owners walk past without a second thought. 8. Your dog shows you their belly. not because they want to scratch. Before that, the moment itself, the rolling over, the exposure of the most vulnerable surface of their body, the abdomen where every vital organ lives unprotected, is an act so trusting that most owners have never fully sat inside the weight of it. Research from the University of Portsmouth studying dog play and submission behaviours found that belly exposure in domestic dogs is context-dependent in a way that is deeply revealing. In play or in conflict, belly exposure can be appeasement, a way of signalling non-threat. But with securely attached humans, the same behaviour takes on a different valence entirely. When a dog rolls over calmly, without prior stress signals, without submission triggers, simply in the middle of an ordinary afternoon at home, when they just flip over and look at you, this is not appeasement. This is offering. The belly is where dogs are most physically vulnerable. There is no defensive position from the belly. There is no quick escape. In turning it toward you, your dog is not asking you for something. They are giving you something. They are saying, "Here is the part of me I protect from everyone and everything. Here it is. I am giving it to you. Do with it what you will, because I know exactly what you will do with it. I know you." A dog who was not sure about you would not do this. A dog who tolerated you, who lived with you but had not fully decided about you, would not do this. This is the behaviour of an animal that has resolved the question. The question was, can I trust this person with my one life? And the answer, the one your dog has been demonstrating every day in all 8 of these moments, is yes. Completely and without reservation. Yes. Think about where we began. You were told that your dog had already decided something about you, something you might not have been aware of. And over the course of the last 8 signs, what became clear is that you did not miss the moments. You saw them. The sleeping dog, the offered sock, the quick glance after a strange sound, the paw that stayed still, the lean against your leg, the soft, held gaze, the settled return, the belly turned toward the ceiling while they looked up at you with everything they had. You were there for all of it. You just did not have the language to understand what you were seeing. Now you do. Your dog looked at you, maybe the first week, maybe after months of careful watching, and made a choice that changed the shape of their entire life. They chose to trust you with the most irreplaceable thing they have. Not their food, not their toys, their nervous system, their sleep, their vulnerable belly in the middle of an ordinary Tuesday. They gave you access to the parts of themselves they protect from the entire rest of the world. That is not love in the abstract. That is not loyalty as a concept. That is a living animal, wired for survival, that decided you were worth the risk of being completely open. You will never walk past those moments the same way again. If this video changed the way you see your dog, share it with someone who loves their dog and deserves to know this. Subscribe to Dog Mind Unlocked. We are here every week helping you understand the animal that chose to spend their one life with you.